He's the brave Scottish piper coming from the skies, while the pipes are calling. He's the brave Scottish piper coming from the skies, while the pipes are calling.
David Kirkpatrick from Gilwan. You were landed on Mount Kuzna 23rd of March 1945. You jumped with your kilt on.
Yes.
What do you remember of that day?
All I remember, it was very cold coming down, very cold. I think it was a dry day, and when I jumped, I landed in a field, and I think I remember there was two people had come out from the area. I took it would be the farmer and his wife, wanted to know who I was and what was happening. But within about 10 minutes or so, an army jeep come up, because they were expecting me to be dropped at a specific time, you see? And this jeep wasn't very far away, and when I dropped, they came into the field and picked me up, put me back in the jeep. They took me into the village, and I met CO, Major Roy Farn at the time. But them days he was called Major McGinty, because he had already been a prisoner and he had escaped, so he didn't want to use his own name. So I asked him for permission from him if I could give my parachute to the lady who was taking me in. He says yes. So I gave the lady the parachute. After that, I was taken back to the camp, to where the SAS was based. And I remember Major Farn says, "You'll be hungry, Piper." I says, "Yes, sir, I'm very hungry." He says, "How do you like some fried bacon and some eggs?" I says, "Yes, sir, I like that very much." So that's what I had when I dropped.
And you remember the night before leaving, you played the bagpipe for the crew?
The night before the operation started, I was called to the CO's billet, and there was a few very high-ranking officers there, plus there was a high-ranking officer from the partisans, And Major Farn asked me to play around the table. Things that army pipers do. I was a company piper. My job was to pipe my company into battle. So once a week, every Friday, pipers had to take a turn and pipe round a big table in the officers' mess, you see? And you asked the officers what tune the piper would like to play for them. And that's what we did. So Farn says to me, "Use this night, Piper, as a night that you play to your officers in your own battalion." In those days it was the Highland Light Infantry, you see, so that's what I did. And that was the night before I went for the operation.
And do you remember the Black Horse Partisan, Buffineri?
Yes, I remember them very, very well. That's what I'm saying. I've said to my family and my wife, and they laughed, I wouldn't like to be a German who was going to be captured with these partisans. Not so much the men, but the women. No disrespect. But to me, some of these women were really evil. They weren't, they're feminine, but they weren't feminine, if you understand what I mean. If a German had been captured with them, I don't know what they would have done to them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
and then you started to go on the track with the kilts on, and the terrible night
I remember
started. What do you want to remember of that night, if you want?
Well, the night that we went to do the operation, I remember starting off about 1 o'clock in the morning. It was enough a dark, cold night. And we marched through the night till came to was a scheduled stop for us because it was still that distance away from Villarissa where the operations that take place. So we camped in, it was a sort of it's a wooden area. We camped in there and waited there until the next nightfall came in, early in the morning. That's when we done the attack. And that was what I remember doing the attack. But after that, I remember wee snatches of things, but I remember Major Farn says to me, Piper, we're ready, play up the Highland Laddie. So went into different groups and I kept playing Highland Laddie. And I led my group up a flight of stairs into that sort of headquarters. And that was me, I kept on playing with the rest of us.
And was in hell there, burning alive,
Yeah.
everything.
No, there's women, I remember women being in that HQ. I took it would be women for the village within selling their wares kind of stuff, you know. But I don't recall if there was any killed or how many was killed, but there would be some who would be caught in the fire, because the SS was given orders. That place was to be cleaned out regardless who they were. It was to be cleaned out, destroyed altogether. And that's what they did. But as far as women, I don't know if there's any killed or whether all got away. I heard a lot of screaming from women, you know. But how many was in it, I couldn't tell you.
And you don't remember, you didn't know that your magic music avoided a reprisal on the citizen
No, I
of
didn't.
Albinea. That's why also Valentina today give you, in the name of the city of Albinea, your honorary citizenship. You didn't know for many years.
No, I didn't know. It was only Major Farn, or them days we called him Major McKinty. And he says to me, Piper, what I want you to do, you'll get into a jeep under an armed escort, you'll go around all the villages and you'll play to the villagers to let them see who you are. Because I've never seen, I don't suppose he says I've seen a Scotsman before with skirt on or a kilt on, or heard of bagpipes. Maybe never heard that before. Unless I'd maybe seen it in television, no television, but
Radio.
cinemas.
Cinemas.
Again, maybe seen it there. Otherwise, he says, play away round the villages as much as you can. Up and down the street, through the villages, that's when they got to know quite a lot of the locals. No name-wise, but I could recognise some of the faces, you know.
You remember the Spaniards?
Remember the Spaniard? Ha, he was a character. I remember the day we were leaving, and we had an old jeep, and I was in it along with him. And he was selling all the blankets, all the bare linen, it was there. What we term flogging it to selling it to the locals and that. And we're selling it off the back of this jeep for so many lire at a time, just to get rid of the stuff. That was a Spaniard. What did you call him again?
Ramos? I
Ramos.
remember Frank Williams.
No, it was Ramos.
Right.
Ramos. But that was about the last I remember coming away. And then I remember, as I said before, when the Yanks was coming through, they thought that they were going to be the first troops to be in the area, you see. But we had already been there for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. We had already been there, and all the work was done, see. So they thought they were coming in to liberate the area. And I remember at the side of the road, there were 2 or 3 years, sat at the side of the road, and the Yanks was coming down, and they stopped. Hello there, Mac, hello there. And I says, mi Italiano, sigaretta, mi Italiano. Okay, here you are, here you are. Gracias. I was kidding, I was an Italian. I mean, they didn't even know the difference between.
But this history is also magic because you gave your parachute for a wedding
Yes,
dress.
yes. I asked permission from my boss, the major, if I could give this woman. See, them, that time we've been billeted in different houses in the village and that. And I was billeted with this old woman, you see. And I says to Farn, would it be all right if I gave this woman my parachute for looking after me? He says, yes. Now, Fern didn't stay in the village where we were. I remember vividly there was a big gully that ran down the middle, just a great big wide gully kind of affair. He was on the opposite side of the gully, where he was billeted, so as if the Germans raided the village, he would be allowed to escape, he would be free, you know. And my job at night time was to pipe. We wanted to make the pipe at night so that he could hear it across the valley. That was it. I remember these things.
And today you received the honorary citizenship of Albinea and Villa Minozzo.
Yes,
Are
and
you
I
happy?
tell the people that I'm very, very grateful, and words can't describe how grateful that I am for getting that recognition. It's not as if I was not brave, I was only doing my job. It was all a job.
But you were the secret weapon of Operation Tombola.
Well, this is when they sent for a piper. And as I said again, I'd already done an operation in Albania. It was a daylight operation. We landed by landing craft. And my job was to do what I did there with Farn, was to pipe my company. And I was the company piper. Every battalion had company, 4 companies, A, B, C, and D. See, A, that was a pipe major's company. He played to all the officers and all what was going on about that. And I'll come right down the line, and the pipe major says to me once, I'm going to make you a company piper, David. Okay, this is very good. Your company will be Company D. And your boss will be a Major Bromley Gardner, big Englishman. Dare say he'd been educated at Oxford or at Cambridge. Very polite, very, he had money. He came one of these kind of people. Major Bromley Gardner. He was a company boss. But anyway, when I'd come back from Albania, that's where I got that decoration, the oak leaves. And I was tired because I'd done other operations since that. So they gave me a job in the stores where I was looking after equipment, piping equipment and things like that. So this day I'm lying back in the stores, and there's a major he's an old HLI man.
Never mind.
So he's an old HLI man. He says, David, he says, I've seen the CO and I've seen the pipe major. He says, I'm looking for a piper to do a wee job. He says, I know you're more or less qualified for these things. Are you interested? Well, I was lying back in the stores doing nothing. I said, certainly. I went, I'll get away from it, fed up lying in the stores. So he came the next day and took me away. I didn't know then of where I was going. But here I go to this place which I thought it was called Moriducci. Hello. Who's that? My father was there. My father and another man coming from Girvan. A fellow called David McLean. Now my father and this David McLean were in the Pioneer Corps. The Pioneer Corps was all labourers. They laid bridges, railways, things like that. So he came to see me away. So this big officer said, he's going to away for a wee while. He says, a very brave boy. My dad says, where is he going? He says, I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't even know myself where he's going. He's going to do a wee job. I said, right.
Your dad was not so happy.
No. He wasn't too happy. So this is when I was sent away in this truck to this school, where my parachute school qualified as a paratrooper. But the best it was that I laughed. I thought this album that Lee gave me the night there was a photograph of me with my father. I met in Egypt. I met him in Egypt. The first time, that was the first time I met him. The second time I met my father, I'm up my line, up to the front line, and I'm in the back of a truck. Looks out, sees my father sitting at the side of the road. What we called a billy can, drumming up, making tea at the side of the road. Knocked knocked the roof of the truck that stopped. What's the matter, David? What's the matter? This is my dad there. I want to speak to him. So that was the last time I saw him. That was the second time I saw him. That was Egypt, and this time. The next time I saw him was the last time I saw him until I come home. Was that place what I thought they called Moradici. Now, I must be wrong somewhere if that Moradici. And that was the third and last time I saw my father until I come home from the army.
So you know that you didn't know until found you last year that you were a kind of hero in Italy.
Oh no, I didn't know.
You didn't.
You see, I don't want to be a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of my job.
Yeah. But
It's just part of your job. See, you're asked to do. See, in those days, they were told, you're going so and so. You've got to go to so and so. You had to be there. You didn't say, where am I going? You report to so and so. It's part of your job. If you're made a company piper, it's your job to lead your men into battle. You're at the front, and all your company's behind you. That's why you made a company piper.
But how did you feel when Matteo told you that you are a hero in Albania and you saved a lot of lives there thanks to your pipe?
But it's just, I thank the people like you and Matteo and these other people, these villagers, that gave me this recognition. And I can only thank very, very much from the bottom of my heart. And it's been a pleasure meeting you all. And what can I say?
Grazie.
Thank you very much for your
Grazie.
kind.
Italian.
Thanks for your gracias.
Grazie.
Yeah, you speak good Italian.
What's
Thanks
the
to
other
you,
word?
David.
What's the other word? Dove andare?
Dove andare?
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
Come sta?
Thank.
Dove prego.
Ciao bella.
Gracias.
Grazie.
Gracias. signore.
Women in Italy are beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, really. Oh wow.
Anyway,
Okie dokie.
okay, is that me?
Yes.